Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today we're back for some college predictions. So let's waste no time. The Missouri scoreboard from this past week. Let's go over some scores from last week. Let's start with Wash U. We really haven't talked about them this year. They end up losing this game 49-9. Now, North Central is always in the competing for the D2 championship, so I don't really know what to say on that one, but pretty bad loss there for Wash U. Northwest, they get it done over Emporia State. Really surprised me. They end up winning 14-9. Central Missouri, they play it close like I expected. They win by 1 point, 36-35. Missouri State gets it done 38-31. SEMO, they win 19-0 against Northwestern State. Now, Northwestern State is not a good team. They're pretty bad, actually. So, it is what it is there. SEMO gets a pretty good win. I took them by 32 in this game, so I was a little bit off. I don't believe I had any point totals exactly correct this week, so, coming off of having 4 exactly right, like I said, probably not going to happen again. Unfortunately, I get 0 this week, so it is what it is there. But the one that I was talking bad about last week was Lindenwood versus Eastern Illinois, and I said there's no chance I go to this game. Someone could pay me to go to this game, still wouldn't want to go. So, it ends up being a close game. Lindenwood wins on the road 28-25 in this one. I want to say I took EIU by 10 points. So, pretty good win for Lindenwood. I'm still not bought in on this Lions team, though. Don't think that they're this great. Sitting at 2-3 right now, though. So, hopefully maybe like 4 or 5 wins this season is the goal for them. I think that would be an okay spot. 5 wins would be an okay spot for them. Let's go ahead. SEC scoreboard now from this past week. We'll start with Texas and Mississippi State. Kind of what I expected, 35-13. Mississippi State's looking pretty awful this year. LSU, they get it done against South Alabama. I think that one was kind of expected as well. Ole Miss, they are upset by Kentucky, 20-17. Really have no clue what happened there. Ole Miss just kind of let it slip up, and they had a game-losing field goal. Texas A&M, they beat Arkansas 21-7. Kind of expected that one as well. I thought A&M would win by just a little bit more, but they get it done by 4 points. I believe that one actually happened at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. So, that was an okay football game. Oklahoma, they go to Auburn on the road, new QB, they bench Jackson Arnold, and they win 27-21. Now, I'm not saying that Oklahoma's looking good. Even though they scored 27, I still think that they're not looking great this year. It's just that Peyton Thorne really sucks. He's not a good quarterback. Now, I may have somebody in the comments being like, well, you can't do it. Obviously, I can't do it. But for a college quarterback, if you're an SEC quarterback, geez, I'm tripping on my words here. In those standards, if you're supposed to be starting in the highest conference in college football, you should probably be a little better than what Thorne is. So, sue me for saying that. This Georgia and Bama game, though, in Tuscaloosa, ends up being 41-34. I took Georgia to win this game by 7. So I left work, and it was 7-0. Go to this little family event. And I hear while I'm there, before I'm able to even think about pulling up the game, I hear it's 28-0. Alabama's winning. I'm like, whoa. So it was like, I want to say it was like, was it like 30-3 or 30-7 going into halftime? So I was like, there's no reason to watch this game. And then I get back to my girlfriend's house, and I see on social media people are like, this is the game of the year. And I'm like, well, what happened? So it was like 34-33, ended up actually getting the game on. And Bama had taken back the lead. Georgia was trying to drive down the field to tie it back up and send it to overtime. Unfortunately, Carson Beck and the Bulldogs were not able to do that. So Bama ends up winning 41-34. But the most interesting thing from this game, Ryan Williams, Alabama's leading wide receiver, he's 17 years old. He was born in February of 2007. We've got an 07 kid running college football right now. He's younger than even me. I'm 18. He's 7 months younger than me, and that's pretty crazy because I was really young for my grade. So I believe he skipped his senior year. He went straight to college after his junior year, and he's tearing it up. So you know, I think if I saw correctly, he's related to Serena Williams. I don't know, but that's pretty funny too. So top 25 scoreboard: Ohio State versus Michigan State. We kind of expected this one, right? If you say you didn't expect this to happen, you may be a little crazy. I took Ohio State by 27. They win by 31. Penn State, they play it close against Illinois, 21-7. It was a lot closer than the score says in that whole game. Kansas State, they absolutely wreck Oklahoma State. It was 42-20 in that game. Michigan truly gets tested by Minnesota. This one kind of surprised me. Really did not expect this game to be that close. Michigan's QB room is a true problem. It's a really big situation for them. Nobody can play that position correctly, especially not to the standards that they're supposed to. Davis Warren is their leading guy in passing yards. I don't believe he started this past week. He's thrown 6 interceptions, and I think he played like 3 games, maybe 4, and he threw 6 picks. So, and then Alex Orji, yes, I said the name correctly. Alex Orji, really odd last name. He's not playing any better. So Michigan gets this one done. I'm a little nervous for them this week, though. We will get to that one, though. USC versus Wisconsin. Now, most people that watch my channel know that I work at Learfield, a radio broadcast company. I work with Oregon State. Well, it was the Bears bye week this week. So I happened to get put on the Wisconsin Badgers game. And I chose them to lose this game. And they were up 21-10 at halftime. They were playing great. It was really fun to listen to. The announcers are excited, and they fell flat. They just fell flat in the second half. They went from being up 21-10, and they lose the game 38-21. They got outscored 28-0 in the second half. They are just gone. Like, I don't know what it was. They sputtered out, and it was a muffed punt there in the third quarter that really, flipped a switch, and USC took control, and it was just done from there. It was a really interesting game. I'm excited to see what Wisconsin has to bring for the rest of the year. If it were me saying, I'd go with maybe 7-5 is a good spot for Wisconsin. Maybe 6-6 if they don't get it turned around. They don't have their starting quarterback. I believe they're on their third string now. Their backup didn't play great. Van Dyke was their starter. He's out for the season with an injury, leg injury. I think it was knee, maybe an ankle. Something wrong, obviously. And, Wisconsin's got a lot to figure out. Notre Dame versus Louisville as we wrap up this past week's talk. Didn't watch this game, not even a second. Didn't even watch a highlight of this game. So not a lot to say here. Louisville does not get it done. They were on the road, though, so it was in South Bend. Notre Dame wins this one 31-24. I had them winning by 9, so I was right there. I was so close on that one. Missouri scoreboard for this week. Now, you may be noticing something. Mizzou is not on this, so you may be questioning yourself. There are only 6 total games in the SEC this week, so if I had Mizzou on this scoreboard, then we'd only have 5 games on the SEC one. So I had to go ahead and move Mizzou and A&M over to the other one. So I get to spotlight 6 Missouri games besides the Tigers this week, just like last week when they had the bye. So we'll continue that. So let's go ahead. Let's start with, I'd say Washburn and Northwest is probably the best place to start because I think that's going to be the furthest gap in points in all 6 of these games. I think the Bearcats win this one on the road by 23. Truman State, I expect them to keep rolling. Dylan Hare, Jake Klosser, the Blair Oaks North team, they played real good in this game. I think that they're going to continue to bounce back from their 0-3 start. I think they win this one on the road by 6 points. SEMO versus Eastern Illinois. Now, I was talking bad about Eastern Illinois last week, and they ended up losing at home to Lindenwood of all teams. So why should I expect them? Why should I even expect them to even put up a fight in this game? I don't know. You tell me. I think the Redhawks win this game by 17. Don't think this one's going to end up being close. Lindenwood versus Tennessee State. Kept teasing that one, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about it right now. Yeah. This is a stumping one. This one stumps me because I thought that they're going to lose to Eastern Illinois. They end up winning this game. They are at home hosting Tennessee State, but Tennessee State just seems like a better team. So I will take Tennessee State in this one. I think it's going to be close. I'll take the same exact margin as I did last week. I'll say Tennessee State by 10. I had Eastern Illinois winning by 10. I'll stick with that one. Pitt State, they are hosting Missouri Western. Pitt State's always a great team. Missouri Western, they've got some stuff to figure out. So I just think, the Gorillas, they're always a good D2 team. I think it continues this year. I believe they go up to 4-1 with this one. I'll say an 8-point win for Pitt State. And our Missouri game of the week, it has to be Fort Hays State hosting Central Missouri. Now, Central Missouri has played all of their games really, really close. They are 3-1. And Fort Hays State is 3-2. They lost to Northwest, I want to say, and so far they've been a solid team. I think they're in Nebraska, if I'm not wrong. But I just think that Central Missouri is a better team. I don't think that I've picked against the Mules all year. I think I've had them on the scoreboard every single game that they played, and I've picked with them. So I'm going to continue that trend on the road. I think the Mules win this game by 2 points. I think this is going to be another close game for them. SEC scoreboard on your screen. What do we want to start with? I guess Vanderbilt and Alabama, another one. We can just start with the game I think is going to be the furthest apart. I think Crimson Tide go to Vandy and get it done by 24. I just really think that Alabama is going to do what Mizzou couldn't and just blow them out of the water. And Vandy's an okay team this year. I don't think that they'll get bowl eligibility. If we're going to be honest, it's probably a 4 or 5 win team. Now, obviously they did play Mizzou close. I think that was just kind of a game that happened. I don't even know really what to say to that one. Like, I really don't know how it was that close, but Vandy just kind of outplayed what they truly are in that game, and they kept it pretty close. I don't think they can do that against the Crimson Tide. Georgia versus Auburn. This is another one I do not think is going to be close. I was just dogging on Peyton Thorne just a minute ago, so I will stay strong with Georgia. Now, they lost last week, obviously. It was on the road. Now they're hosting. They're going to be even more fired up with Kirby Smart chewing their ears off all week. I think that Auburn's going to go to Georgia off a loss at home to Oklahoma, which obviously is not as good as Georgia. I think they're going to have a rough game. I think Auburn's going to play really bad. I'm going to take Georgia by 21. Florida hosting UCF. Now, you guys may think I'm crazy. UCF just lost at home to Colorado. Didn't look great. Florida, they're doing okay. They are. They're 2-2 right now. I'm going to take UCF on the road. I think they go to the Swamp and just crush Florida's fans. I think Gator fans are just going to be crying in the stands. I think UCF gets this one done by 4 points. It's going to be a late win. Maybe Florida's up 3 and then UCF goes down, scores a touchdown, something like that. But I'm gonna be the shocker. And obviously, if Florida wins, nobody's gonna be surprised. But I'll say I want to be ahead of the curve. Maybe I'm gonna take UCF just in case it happens. Arkansas versus Tennessee. Obviously, we all know that's not going to be a close game. I'll take Tennessee by 18 in this one. They are on the road, though, so I guess we'll see what happens there. But, I guess I did just take UCF on the road at the Swamp. So if UCF could do it at Florida, then Tennessee could win by a lot at Arkansas. Texas A&M and Missouri. This isn't quite going to get the SEC game of the week. I'm sorry. Obviously, I like Mizzou. I do. But this is one of those games that was kind of circled on Mizzou's schedule that was like a watch out for that one. And I think that holds true. With the way that Mizzou's playing so far this year, it's been a little bit nerve-wracking. They've been a little too close with some teams that they should not be close with, like Vanderbilt. Obviously, Boston College was ranked at the time, but they probably should have won a little bit easier than what they did, being that they're, 6 or 7 in the country at the moment, maybe 8. So they did make it back in the top 10 this week after a bye week. They had some teams ahead of them fall, like that. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think that A&M is able to win this one at College Station. I think the home crowd is going to get to Mizzou. I believe it's the first away game. So, first game on the road. Offense hasn't quite clicked this year. I think that A&M wins this one by 7 points. I think it'll just be a touchdown margin for the Aggies. SEC game of the week, I'm going to give this one to South Carolina and Ole Miss. Now, maybe questioning that because Ole Miss just lost, but that's where that kind of comes from. They're on the road at South Carolina. They're going to be looking for a bounce back. I think they do bounce back. I think they beat South Carolina. I don't think it'll be super convincingly, but I do have the Rebels by 10 points in this game. Top 25 scoreboard. Let's just start with Minnesota and USC. How about that? I'll take the Trojans by 14 on the road. They played really iffy against Wisconsin in the first half, and then like I was saying, they went out and outscored the Badgers 28-0 in the second half. Not fully certain if that's how this game's going to play out as well, but I do think that they win this game by 2 touchdowns on the road. Louisville versus SMU. Now, SMU just had a great win against Florida State, but obviously Florida State's a pretty awful team this year. Like, honestly, maybe a 4-8 or 5-7 team. Not super impressive, but, SMU is 4-1, so I won't sleep on them too badly. Louisville also coming off a loss, though, so this one's going to be an interesting game. I do have Louisville winning at home by 11 points in this game. Ohio State versus Iowa. I feel like this one's always a gritty game, obviously, because it's Big Ten, but obviously Ohio State always, normally they win by a pretty big margin. So, if they ever really do play, when they play, Ohio State wins pretty big. I think for what I remember, really. So I do have the Buckeyes winning this one by 17. I think it'll be close in the first quarter, and then it'll just slowly start looking worse and worse for the Hawkeyes. Oregon versus Michigan State is where we'll go next. I'm not 100% on Michigan State this year. Going into the season, I liked what they had. I was thinking 8-4. But the way they've performed so far this year, I'm not fully certain that's going to happen. I don't know if they can get to 8 wins. I 100% think that they make a bowl this year. Not certain that 8-4 is still in the cards for them, though. I will take the Ducks. They are at home against the Spartans, so give me Oregon by 24. I don't think this game's going to end up being very close. Penn State versus UCLA. Another game I don't think is going to be very close. UCLA is currently 1-3. Penn State 4-0. They've had some really close games so far this year, but I don't think that UCLA is going to be the one to continue to test them. I think that the Nittany Lions win this one by 21. Washington versus Michigan. This has to be the top 25 game of the week. Michigan is going to Washington. And the way these quarterbacks have been playing for the Wolverines really makes me nervous for how this season's going to go for them. I think the way Will Rogers is leading Washington, although they're sitting at 3-2, I think having Michigan come to them, if it were at Michigan, with ease, I would tell you that Michigan's probably going to win this game. But I'm gonna have a flip here. I'm gonna take the Washington Huskies at home against Michigan. I think it's gonna be a really close game. I'm gonna take Washington by 3. Maybe even a game-winning field goal, and then we could see the fans rush the field. I feel like that would be a pretty fun event there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.